Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of 1990's Represent. We're now moving into 1991. So, we just finished up doing our first cycle of 1990. We're now in 1991, and we're starting off with a music album. So, this episode, we're taking a look at Blood Sugar Sex Magik by the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Before I get started, just want to say I have a lot of very fond memories of 1991, particularly the summer and the fall. Like there was like a really awesome summer camp that I was at in like a summer day camp in 1991, and we were stationed kind of at the local like elementary school, and or one of the elementary schools. There's been a couple more built since then. But since I was in the older kid group, we kind of got to just do kind of whatever we want. We wanted to go to an arcade one day, we were able to do it. We wanted to go bowling, we were able to do that. But one thing that we found out that we really liked doing was playing hide and seek in the elementary school. Best game of hide and seek ever, or we did it several times, but best games of hide and seek I've ever probably played. But 1991, just an incredible year across the board, music, movies, video games. We'll be doing a movie next week, and then a video game after that. And then we'll continue to cycle through the various years, and then we'll get back to 1991. But this week we're taking a look at this album by the Red Hot Chili Peppers, probably their best album. I want to say for me it's between this and probably Californication being my favorite albums from them. I have some notes here about the album, and then we're going to just get into discussing it. Let me bring this up here. Here is our notes. So, Blood Sugar Sex Magik by the Red Hot Chili Peppers, first released September 24th, 1991. Ton of great music released that year. There was a thing called it's like the 44-day like window or 44 days toward the end of the year. A bunch of iconic albums were released, like 7 of them to be exact. And we'll probably be covering most of them on this series once we cycle back to 1991 eventually. But we're looking at like 7 just iconic albums. This is Red Hot Chili Peppers is one of them. But within 44 days, Metallica put out the Black Album. Pearl Jam put out 10. Guns N' Roses put out 2 albums in Use Your Illusion Use Your Illusion 1, Use Your Illusion 2. Red Hot Chili Peppers, Blood Sugar Sex Magik. Soundgarden released Bad Motor Finger. And then Nirvana released Nevermind. And that's 7 great albums or amazing albums, all within a 44-day period. Like I mentioned a bit ago, we'll probably, when we cycle back to 1991, we'll be covering those other albums as well. I picked this album up in 1995. It may have been early 1996. But 1995, I got a subscription to Columbia House. And that's probably like a video for like within itself, but Columbia House was actually, back in the day, I think a very good deal. They kind of charged an arm and a leg for shipping, but for what you got for, depending on how old you are, I think the original ones were like a penny. I think when I got around to doing it, it was like 8 CDs for $1 or something like that. Like 8 CDs for $1, and then their kind of caveat was that you had to buy 2, I think it was like 1 or 2 full price CDs. So I forget what the full price CD I bought was, but Red Hot Chili Peppers was the second one I bought for full price. Totally worth every penny. But a lot of my favorite albums in 1995 came from Columbia House. I picked up like Jagged Little Pill, the Foo Fighters debut, Garbage's debut, I think like Regulate by Warren G, and a few like Hootie the Blowfish, like Crack Review. Picked those up. But the final album I got from them before canceling my subscription was this Red Hot Chili Peppers album. Let's see. So it's a great album. It's got basically very good like funk beats to it. It's like basically like rock funk. There's just some amazing drumming on there by Chad Smith. Some amazing bass work by Flea. Anthony Kiedis' vocals are incredible. I remember doing my research for this. The Red Hot Chili Peppers had done their previous album, Mother's Milk, with EMI, and their contract with them was up. So they were leaving EMI, and they were going to sign with Epic, and they were supposed to be, like, one of the things was they were supposed to buy out the previous album, which would have been Mother's Milk. EMI was supposed to Epic was supposed to buy that out from EMI, and it was only supposed to take a few days, but it ended up taking months to get the rights to that album over to like the new label. And there was an interesting quote from Anthony Kiedis I'll bring up here in a second. But Warner Brothers then, somebody from Warner Brothers, Mo Austin basically called Anthony Kiedis to congratulate him. He's like, hey, like I know you're going to like the competitor's label, you're going to Epic, and even though they're a competitor, I want you guys to put out an amazing album. And Anthony Kiedis really liked that he had reached out and was like congratulating them. And even though he was on a rival label, the fact that this guy was like saying like, hey, like I might be on a rival like record label, but I want you guys to go out and just do an amazing album. I'm gonna bring the quote up here. I have it pulled up. So let me just see what the actual quote was. See if I find it. Yeah, so Mo Awesome called Kiedis to congratulate him, and Kiedis, when like in an interview, said, "This is a quote from him." It says, "Quote: The coolest, most real person we had met during all these negotiations had just personally called to encourage me to make a great record for a rival company. That was the kind of guy I'd want to work for." So then, so basically, eventually, what happened was I think the deal with EMI fell through, and they ended up going with that guy instead, just based on like like him just being like the fact that he was congratulating them and telling them, even though you're working for a competitor, go out there and just like make an amazing album. So Warner Brothers ended up getting that. Rick Rubin was brought in to produce, and Rick Rubin, one of the greatest music producers probably of all time. He's done just music for many different genres like rock, rap, whatever. I remember there was an interview where he did. I think he produced some of the Downs' Toxicity, and there was an interview where I think Serj Tankian was stuck. They're writing Chop Suey, and he was stuck for an idea for like a part of the song, and Rick Rubin and him were basically just like, all right, let's like come up with a way to do this. And he's like, hey, like, this is Rick Rubin telling Serj Tankian, he's like, hey, go to my bookshelf, just grab a random book off the shelf, turn it to a random page, pick a random line, and include that in the song. And from the interview, from what he was saying, Serj grabs a random book, picks a page, picks a line, and it's the like "Father, why have you forsaken me?" line from Chop Suey, and that line just it works in a part of the song where it kind of slows down, and it's like "Why have you forsaken me?" like all that kind of stuff, and that was just like a really cool way to kind of like get that part of the song written. And like I said, they were stuck for an idea, and Rick Rubin's like, hey, just go grab a book and choose something out of it. Apparently, this album was recorded in a mansion, and it was said to be the mansion that Harry Houdini had lived in. So they all kind of moved into this mansion and were doing the recording all in this mansion. I think Anthony Kiedis, like his bedroom was big enough that he was able to just do all the vocals in like his room because it was big enough to fit all the kind of like recording equipment. And then everybody else kind of had their own rooms, and they collaborated on this amazing record. Very critically acclaimed, and like I said, it's probably one of the best albums of the '90s. I think probably the Red Hot Chili Peppers' best album. I really also like Californication, but if I had to choose one, it would be Blood Sugar Sex Magik. Just an incredible album, kind of start to finish. I remember when this album got put in. I don't remember what rock band it was. I think it was either 2 or 3. They did an entire DLC of this album, and I remember reading about it on like an old forum, and they were like, well, the lyrics in a lot of these songs are so over the top, like with a lot of like sexual references. It's gonna be really funny to see how they like actually like edit that and make it actually work in the context of the game, because like I think the song that they were talking about particularly on that forum was called Sir Psycho Sexy, and it's just kind of super over the top. But they edited it well enough in the game, because I think I ended up buying that album in whatever version of Rock Band it was. It's been a while since I played Rock Band, but I definitely remember buying that album when it was DLC. Like, how long ago had this been? Like 2009, maybe 2010? 2010 at the latest, probably. But it showed up as DLC there. There's been a bunch of other Red Hot Chili Pepper stuff in those games, like over the years as well. But we're going to go ahead now and take a look at the track list, and I'm going to pull that up. All right, so here we have our track list. And this album actually has quite a few tracks on it. So 17 tracks for looks like an hour and 13 minutes of playtime. So definitely like a lot of bang for your buck here. The first song for track one is "The Power of Equality." Track two is "If You Have to Ask," pretty good song there. Track three is "Breaking the Girl," one of probably their Red Hot Chili Peppers' best songs, I think. Track four is "Funky Monks." Track five is "Suck My Kiss," another iconic Red Hot Chili Peppers track there. Track six is "I Could Have Lied." Track seven is "Mellowship," Slinky in B minor, pretty good song there. Track nine is "The Righteous and the Wicked." That's also pretty solid. That was track eight was "Righteous and the Wicked." Track nine is "Give It Away." Probably, I want to say probably their most iconic song. I would think it's definitely the song that I remember. I definitely can like just visualize the music video for that song without even seeing the video. "Give It Away" is an amazing song. Track 10 is "Blood Sugar Sex Magik," so title track there. Track 11 is "Under the Bridge," a very kind of slow ballad. I remember hearing that, I want to say in maybe like 1992 or 1993 for the first time, and like really liking it. I think the reason I ended up grabbing this album off Columbia House was probably for like "Give It Away," "Under the Bridge," probably like "Suck My Kiss" and "Breaking the Girl." I probably like the four tracks I kind of like knew pretty well to start, and then picked up the rest of the album from there. So that was track 11. That was "Under the Bridge." Track 12 is "Naked in the Rain." Track 13 is "Apache Rose Peacock." That one is pretty graphic as well. So when they got part of the Rock Band, I think it was like obviously highly edited or highly edited, I should say. Track 14 is "The Greeting Song." Track 15 is My Lovely Man." Track 16 is "Surf Psycho Sexy." And track 17, final track, is "They're Red Hot." So again, 17 tracks for about an hour and 13 minutes of music. I think easily, at least in my opinion, their best album. I remember picking up their album. I think the album right after this was "One Hot Minute" or something like that, and that one was just kind of okay. I picked that up in like 1995. Like I think probably before I got this one actually. Um, and I didn't really love it. Like I think like "Aeroplane" was pretty good. "My Friends" was pretty solid, but I think the rest of "One Hot Minute" was kind of forgettable. But "Blood Sugar Sex Magik" is definitely an iconic album. One of the best albums of 1991, and probably one of the best albums of the 90s. Like I said earlier, there's like a bunch of other, like six other iconic albums that came out that year that we will probably be covering on this series at some point. I always see that kind of stat on if you go to like 90s subreddits or like nostalgia subreddits. There's always the like a post of these seven albums were released within 44 days of each other in 1991, and it's just this laundry list of some of the greatest, kind of mostly rock albums of all time. There's some metal in there, like metal with Metallica, hair metal with Guns N' Roses, um, kind of like some grunge with Pearl Jam, grunge with Nirvana, rock with the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and so on. Soundgarden, another grunge kind of album that year as well. But that's gonna do it for this video. We'll be back again in a few days with a movie. I'm super excited about it. That's going to be a lot of fun. And then we'll be back after that with a video game. And then we'll be moving into, after those videos, we'll be moving into 1992 and throughout the rest of the decade. And then cycling all the way back and starting over again. But that's going to do it for now. So remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. We'll see you again next time. Thanks again for watching. Take care and have a good one. See ya.